got Ash in the building.
Got Ash in the building.
And today we have Brother Dr. Levi Bay, board certified natural herbalist. Welcome.
Okay. Thank you for bringing me on. I want to tell you about my journey to this knowledge of becoming a board certified master herbalist.
Mm-hmm.
In 2004, I was diagnosed with an incurable liver disease. Mm-hmm. And so I was at a crossroads at that point because the medical doctors suggested that I get a liver biopsy to determine whether or not I had liver cancer. So it didn't feel right with me. It didn't feel right in my spirit. I just knew that this wasn't the way for me to go to take care of this issue. Mm-hmm. So I told them I wasn't going to have it done. And you know, they looked at me like, you know, I was crazy. Like, why wouldn't you do that? And I'm like, it doesn't feel right with me. I don't want anybody cutting on me and you know, scraping off of my liver to test for cancer. I just don't want to do it. And so in the process of denying getting that done, I did some research and you know, and I prayed on it too. I mean, I'm telling everybody now, prayer is very powerful.
Absolutely.
And I prayed on it, and I got led to a naturopathic doctor, which I never had heard of a naturopathic doctor at the time, by the name of Dr. Frank Wyatt. Mm-hmm. And he had a store on 32 South 40th Street called University Herbs. And I went there to see him, to see if he could help me. And like, his client list was so backed up at that time that I had to wait 3 months to actually get a consultation with him. And so what he did is he had a couple of students that he taught that he did what he called in the meantime. Okay. And they would see you and put you on a herbal regimen until you can have your appointment with him. Mm-hmm. And so when I got that first experience with one of his students, they were checking me through a science called kinesiology, and I had never seen this science at that time. And she was aiming her hand at my liver, and then she was taking herbs and putting them in the same area and checking through energy to see if that herb was good for me or not. And then when she found something that really wasn't strong, she would put it to the side, and then she kept going until she found the right regimen for me. And I'm observing this, and I'm like, I've never seen this before, so you know, I'm looking at it with wide eyes. But at the same time, it felt right in my spirit. It's like, for some reason, this feels the right thing to do. And so I started taking the herbal regimen that she put me on, and I started noticing like right away that my energy was coming back. And anybody who has a liver disease can bear witness to this, is that when you have that, you're very tired. You could be having a conversation with someone and feel just like you're going to pass out. So it's very scary, you know what I'm saying? And I noticed my energy coming back. You know, I'm working out, I'm feeling good. I'm like, wow, I can really feel a difference. I mean, I even had one day looking at, and my hairs on my arm was sticking straight up like I was, had some connection with the atmosphere. I'm like, what? I said, wow. I said, look at all this energy. And so Dr. Wyatt used to have something that he used to do with the community called community meeting that he would have teaching on health every third Monday of the month. So I was going to the community meetings, but my consultation, I had to wait, 3 months for it. So I got a little familiar with him. And then when I had my consultation, this man was telling me things about myself. I didn't even open up my mouth, and he was dead accurate in what he was telling me. And I'm sitting up there saying, who wouldn't want to see a doctor like this that can tell you, about yourself and telling you what's going on with you and be dead accurate, and you didn't open up your mouth? I'm like, he really knows what he's doing. He knows my body. And so he's checking me while he's talking to me, he's checking me with different herbs and seeing what I needed. And he put me on like 22 different herbs at that time. So I was taking a lot of capsules. I was taking them encapsulated. And so I was taking a lot of capsules. And I was like, wow, this is a lot. But I wanted to be well. Absolutely. Because when you have a liver disease, it's scary. So I'm like, no, I definitely going to do this. And so what I did is, you know, because it was so many pills that I was taking, I was opening them up and putting them in like carrot juice or apple juice. And some herbs are very bitter and strong, so they can overpower the whole juice, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't care because, you know, a child worries about whether it tastes good or not. But an adult, if you want to live, you don't care if it's bitter or not. You're going to take it. So I'm drinking it, you know, and I'm just noticing all this energy, and I was coaching football at the time and stuff, so, you know, I needed that energy to deal with them children. So I'm like, oh man, I'm like, this is unbelievable, like all this energy I got, you know. And so, you know, I followed everything that he told me to do, and then you know, I would continue to go to his Monday night meetings, and he would teach us a whole lot in those meetings. And one of the things that he said is that, you know, the mind is very powerful. Absolutely. And he said the number one cause of sickness is negative thinking. And so you have to not allow your mind to be thinking negative, because it can overpower the body. It can really literally make you sick if you let your mind become victim to negative thoughts. And so the primary care doctors that I was going to couldn't figure out how was I getting well, and I didn't take any drugs. And so they sent me to the University of Pennsylvania hospital to see an upper GI specialist. This is talking about my primary care doctor. And so then, right, you know, they already had done tests, but they're trying to figure out how I got well. So she says to me that she wanted to do these tests, and I said, no, I'm not doing any more tests. She said, well, why not? I said because I feel so good. I knew how I felt when I was sick, and I know how I feel now because I'm well, and I got all this energy, and my weight's back, and my skin tone is good. I said, I know I'm good. I know I'm fine. And she looked at me and she said, well, I think you should get the test done. I mean, aren't you concerned about, you know, your family knowing about your condition? I'm like, I'm not concerned about that because I know I'm better. I can feel it. And she looked at me and said, well, you know, and she really said this. She said, well, now that we planted the seed in your head, you might want to think about getting it done. And I'm like, plant the seed in my head? Like, what? I said, then I thought about Dr. Wyatt, power of thought. Okay, I'm not receiving that. I rebuke that. I'm out. You know what I'm saying? Didn't get the test done. I said, I know I'm good. 2 weeks later, I'm driving home from work. I get a call from the University of Pennsylvania, and they said, well, we're just calling to let you know, we don't know what happened, but your body fought off the virus and is no longer there. And I'm like, oh, okay. You didn't tell me that, because I already knew. I already knew the difference. I knew how I felt. And I said to myself, I said, okay, so y'all told me it was incurable. Now you're telling me that it's gone. So it wasn't incurable. And I tell all my clients the same thing. I tell them, I said, listen, I said, there is no incurable disease, just the knowledge of how to cure it. You understand what I'm saying to you? So never listen to someone tell you, well, what you got is incurable, there's nothing that can be done. Don't believe that. Understand that they just don't have the knowledge. Okay? That's it. They just don't have the knowledge. Don't mean it can't be done. You know what I'm saying? The minute you give in to that, you already defeated. You understand what I'm saying? You already defeated. You don't want to give in to that. So you know, I went back to my primary care doctor. Primary care doctor looks at me, he smiles, and he says, are you doing anything? Because, you know, they compare notes.
Of course.
And I said, yeah. And I used to always carry my regimen with me, so I had it. So I gave it to him. I said, here's what I'm doing. And he looks at it, right? And he smiles, and he laughs, and he says, why are you taking all this stuff? He said, I don't know where these people come from. You know, they give you all this stuff. He said, Boom, folds it up, hands it back to me. The truth came out. You gotta be listening. Truth, he said, what is he trying to do? Turn into Superman? And I knew.
You felt like Superman?
And I knew. I said, oh, okay. I'm doing the right thing. I said, because you ain't say, well, what is he trying to do? Kill you? This stuff will kill you. No. What is he trying to do? Turn into Superman? I know he's doing the right thing. Okay? Now, I tell people all the time that God is so great that if you act out on what you were commanded to do, because you were commanded in the scriptures to take herbs. All the scriptures talk about herbs, okay? The Torah, the Quran, the Bible, they all talk about herbs. Okay, so you was commanded to take herbs. So whatever you act out on what you were commanded to do, God will always validate himself on why, okay? So 2012, fast forward. Medical doctor calls me that lives in Elkins Park. He has liver cancer. He has me to come see him, right? And I go there, and he was telling me that, you know, since he was diagnosed, he's trying to eat better and, you know, get on a better diet because he never really cared about what he ate before and stuff, and he really wasn't into nutrition like that. And he was seeing a chiropractor, and you know, and the chiropractor got him on some herbs and stuff, and I checked him out, and I said, well, you're B17 deficient. He was like, B17? I never heard of B17. I said, Laetrile. He said, oh, I know about Laetrile. He said, you can't get Laetrile here in America. You only can get that in Mexico or Canada. You can't get that here. I said, that's because you're thinking about the drug Laetrile. I'm talking about natural Laetrile that God put here. I'm talking about apricot pits. I'm talking about buckwheat. I'm talking about flaxseed oil. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about apples. I'm talking about natural Laetrile. He said, oh, I never thought about that. And I said, yeah. I said, those are the foods that Laetrile comes from naturally. But what is vitamin B17? Because most people never heard of it. Yeah. Vitamin B17 is a vitamin that helps your body suppress tumorous growth. So if you have tumors growing in your body, cancerous tumors, guess what I know already? You're vitamin B17 deficient. Because you don't have the ingredient that you need to help suppress these tumors, okay? There's also an amino acid. There's also an amino acid called arginine, okay? Arginine is an amino acid that if your body's deficient in it, will not be able to suppress tumors because arginine helps to suppress tumors. You understand what I'm saying? Well, people don't know this, you know what I mean? So you know, I explained those things to them. And I told him the story that I told y'all just now about my own journey with my liver. And when I told you, I said, God would always validate what you act on, when you act on what he wants you to. He looked at me in my face and he said to me, he said, oh, you said 2004 is when you had your problem with your liver? He said, that's the same year I had the problem with my liver when it started. And, you know, I had the liver biopsy and my liver never stopped hurting me. He looked me in my face and he said, and you did the right thing. Now, that was the validation from God. Absolutely. Because why? Because now he put me in front of the medical doctor because the medical doctor needed my help. You understand what I'm saying to you? You understand how awesome God is when you listen to what God tells you to do? You see what I'm saying? And so that's, you know, like my journey into that. You understand what I'm saying? And Dr. Wyatt, you know, because once I got well, I just wasn't satisfied with being well. I wanted to know how to do it. I said, I got to learn this. I said, because people need help. I got to learn this. I know my purpose in life now. And so I went and I studied under him for 7 years. And I traveled around the country with him, you know what I'm saying? And I got the greatest teaching I ever could have gotten. You know, I was certified by him, and then I also went to Trinity School of Natural Health, okay? And that's a school that Dr. Wyatt also went to as well. And I went there to get my board certification for Master Herbalist, okay? And the thing about it is, that when I went to the school, I was so far advanced among the other students because of that 7 years under Dr. Wyatt. It was almost like a breeze for me. I was even showing them things that they hadn't even considered because I was taught by a master teacher. You understand what I'm saying to you? And so I'm eternally grateful and thankful to him. And whenever I have an interview or I'm talking with someone, I have to always tell the story about my teacher, because I don't want you to think that all of this just came to me, like I just all of a sudden figured all this out. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have known this. You understand what I'm saying to you? So I always am eternally grateful to him and thankful to him for giving me this knowledge. It's truly a blessing. It's truly a blessing. And to be able to go out there and help others is truly a blessing. Nothing makes me feel better than to see someone get better after finding out the truth about health. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying to you?
I couldn't agree more. I just love it. Like, it's one, it's crazy how you was able to really like say, this don't feel right. I'm not going to do this. And go on a whim. Most people, you hear something and you immediately like, oh my God, what do I do now? What do you want me to do? What should I do to get better, right? But you was able to feel those energies, and you're not relying, because like you said, the mind is a powerful tool, and if you don't connect all of that, then yeah, you're going to end up, you see how the doctor now had to come to you, and a doctor, you got to come to me for my help and my expertise, and I'm glad that he did, because he was able to connect it back to your own calling. And everybody got a call. We don't know when it's going to come, but if you start listening to what is need to be done, then you'll be able to find where yours lie, right? So my question to you is, and yes, and Dr. Wyatt, yes, did a lot of amazing things. I read up on him. Of course, I never got a chance to meet Dr. Wyatt myself, but the things that he was able to give to you, give to others, is like it will go on for a lifetime, right? So his legacy is going to always remain here, even though he transitioned. And it's like you kind of like is holding the torch, right? And running off with it and able to give it to others. Even prior to us, recording, you gave me some insight. I'm like, dang, I didn't even know that. Wow, yeah. So the man is legit. Most people run around and tell you all these different things, but when you in front of somebody and then you really talking to them and picking up what they're putting down and really receiving it puts you in a whole different mindset when you hear about the herbs and all of that. So my question to you is, so a lot of people, of course, is diagnosed with different illnesses, right? Do you feel like anything is, everything can be cured, or do you feel like some stuff is what they say it is?
So here's the thing, right? There are situations when a person reaches a certain state in their life where they've done so much damage to themselves that there's at a point where there's no repairing it. You understand what I'm saying? But a lot of times when people get told that something is, hopeless, incurable, that's not necessarily the case. The case is that they just don't have the knowledge of how to do it. They're not going to admit that they just don't have the knowledge. They're just going to say there's nothing that can be done. You understand what I'm saying to you? There are things that happen to us in life that we definitely going to need the expertise of some medical professional in their field, as far as if you got a gunshot wound, you got a fracture, the bone is sticking through your skin, and all that stuff. So trauma like that, like of course you're gonna need that. I'm not gonna walk up to somebody who's bleeding profusely from a gunshot wound and say, here, take these herbs. No, that needs to be attended to. Okay. Now once that's attended to, then is the healing process going forward. Now we can come back to nature. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, it makes perfect sense.
Yes, you know what I'm saying?
Perfect sense.
But a lot of stuff that, our people are dealing with, the high blood pressures, the diabetes and stuff like that, this stuff can be turned around. You know what I'm saying? By understanding who you are, understanding your body, eating the right foods, taking the right herbs that are known or historically known to control the blood sugar. Also, coming into right thinking. Because remember, this is holistic. A lot of times people bring a lot of trauma on themselves because of their thoughts too. You understand what I'm saying to you? You know, it's like, and that's why, some of the sciences that I do, we get to the root cause of the issue. Because like, I can see a person, say I'm seeing a woman that has a condition with fibroids, okay? And irregular cycle and stuff, right? I can look in her eyes, and the science is called sclerology, and I can look in her eyes and I can see traumatic states. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe that problem with her womb and these fibroids came from some traumatic experience she had with another mate. Maybe she was sexually abused. That will show up in the eyes. You can see it. And so therefore, if I don't deal with that mental state of, you got to work on forgiveness and release that anger, then I can't help you control the problems with the fibroids. Because when you are emotionally distraught from a traumatic experience, you will also have an incorrect diet. You will eat these foods because these foods are comforting you from your hurt and your pain. And so when I can realize that that's what's going on with you, because fibroids are nothing but your body trying to release toxins, and so you have to learn how to stay away from the garbage food that is creating that environment, and also the emotional state, that anger state, you have to learn how to release. You understand what I'm saying to you? Because it is real. It is real, okay? There is a sister by the name of Queen Afora, and Queen Afora said that fibroids is what she calls the angry vagina disease. You're very angry and not knowing how to let go of that hurt and pain, okay, which manifested in the womb. You understand what I'm saying? You have to learn how to release that. You got to learn how to release that hurt, that pain, in order to bring yourself back into balance. You understand what I'm saying? No drug is going to do that for you. You understand what I'm saying to you? You have to come back to the earth, take the things that come from the earth to help replenish and rebalance your body, and you have to work on forgiveness. You understand what I'm saying to you? There is a metaphysicist by the name of Louise Hay, and she wrote a book called Heal Your Body. Very good book to get. But metaphysicists are people who heal the body through the mind. But she tells a story about her own issue in life, where she had got diagnosed with cervical cancer. And she had got diagnosed with this cervical cancer, right? And she became afraid because she was saying, "Oh my God, how did I get this cancer?" And so, she was like, "Well, I've been helping people all my life overcome these imbalances by helping them through the mind, like to go into the mind and physically overcome it, or mentally, overcome it with the mind." And she said, "And here now, I get diagnosed with it and I'm scared." She said, "Why?" She said, "I know I'm better than this. I know that I can defeat this because I've helped people do it all the time." And so what she had to do is she had to start thinking about, where could this have manifested from? Where is this origin? And she had to go back in her childhood, and she realized that when she was 5 years old, she was molested. And she had never forgave that. She never forgave it. And so she realized that she had to let that go. She had to forgive that person, even though that person caused her hurt and pain. She had to forgive that person in order to heal. And she said that they wanted to put her on chemo and radiation right away, but she said no. She said, "Give me time." So she went and put herself on a strict diet for 6 months. And after 6 months, they had to admit to her that she was cancer free. And so my thing is that we have to know the roots of these things in order to overcome them. A very famous master herbalist and naturopath, Dr. John Christopher, told the story about himself, saying that he had been diagnosed with thyroid cancer, and he said when he first found out that he had the thyroid cancer, he couldn't believe it. He said, "Because I know that cancer comes from anger." And he said, I consider myself a very good, happy-go-lucky person, easy to get along with. How could I get thyroid cancer? I'm not an angry guy. But he said he had to dig back deep and really think about, where did this come from? And he said he realized that, you know, when he was a child, he was given up for adoption. And he was raised in a foster home. And he said, dog, I want y'all to know that my foster parents were very good to me. I was treated very well. He said, but I never forgave my mom for the abandonment. So he said, I had to work on forgiving my mother. I had to make peace with her. He said, I had to pray on it and make peace with her and tell her, Mom, I forgive you, it's all right. And he said, and then, you know, from taking the herbs, but I had to make that peace first. I was able to, you know, become cancer free. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we focus on dealing with root causes. Not getting caught up in names of diseases. You see what I'm saying? Names of diseases justify medication. I can't give you a drug unless I have first diagnosed the disease. If I haven't diagnosed that disease, I can't give you a drug. You see what I'm saying? So we don't believe in names of diseases. I tell people all the time, you come see me or you have a consultation with me, I say, let's throw the name of the disease out the window. That's like chasing ghosts. You don't come to me talking about high blood pressure, diabetes, and all that. I'm like, no. Okay, that's the symptom. That's not the cause of the problem. Let's get that out and throw it out the window and let's deal with you. Let's find out what's going on with you. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Because a lot of times people don't really want to deal with themselves. You understand what I'm saying to you? And sometimes when your body's in an imbalanced state, it's because you're not really dealing with the total you. You understand what I'm saying to you? So we have to learn how to deal with ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, sickness just doesn't come from out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Dr. Wyatt used to always say, he said, disease starts in the spiritual before it ever hits the physical. You see what I'm saying? So if something's going wrong with you, some disconnect with you spiritually, which is making you out of balance with universal law, this is how disease sets into the body. You understand what I'm saying to you? And when you come to that realization or that acceptance of that, you're on your journey to healing. You understand what I'm saying? But as long as you refuse to accept that or ignore that point, you're not ready to heal yet. You understand? And I tell people all the time, healing takes time. And my saying, I tell all my clients this. I said the three greatest physicians is nature, time, and patience. Why? Because it takes time to heal. If you've been doing something for all these years that have caused you to be in this physical state, guess what? No one pill going to turn that all around. And if you think that, you're kidding yourself. You understand what I'm saying? And so therefore, you have to work on yourself. Because just like the universe, just like nature, things come in season. There's a season of life, there's a season of death, right? You know, you have your winter, you have your summer, you have your fall, you have your spring. And guess what? Your body goes through changes too. Because why? You're part of this universe. And the minute you disconnect yourself from this universe is where you're making your mistake. You see what I'm saying? You have to understand and appreciate nature and what nature is showing you. You understand? Because that's how our ancestors learned. Our ancestors learned from studying nature. You know what I'm saying? There's a book by Napoleon Hill. Have y'all ever heard of him? Napoleon Hill wrote the book Think and Grow Rich. Well, he also wrote a book that was not as popular. Actually, it was withheld for years. He wrote a book called Outwitting the Devil. Okay? And in this book, he has a conversation with Satan, right? To tell the real truth of what he is or what control he has over us, right? But there's a part in that book, there's a lot of jewels dropped in this book. This book was written in 1938. Oh, wow. But you can listen to this book. I'll send you an audio of it. You can listen to this book and you can say, oh my goodness, this is what's going on right now. And he wrote this in 1938. But he has this conversation with the devil about law, right? And lawyers and the value of a lawyer, right? And the devil tells him that it is important for a lawyer to know universal law, than the law, for universal law is the law. So in other words, when you think about this, right? And I tell people all the time, the greatest science is common sense. Okay, there is no greater science than common sense, but we don't use it.
No.
Okay, so we talk about universal law. Let's talk about the law of gravity. Okay, understanding gravity and universal law, I know if I go on this rooftop and jump off, there's a good chance I'm going to die. I'm going to straight, right? Because I know that I'm not just going to just walk in the air because I understand the law. You understand what I'm saying? So my thing is that universal law is right and exact. You see what I'm saying to you? You know, there's a time for the flowers to bloom, and there's a time for the flowers to die. There's a time to harvest, right? There's a time to plant, okay? This is what our ancestors understood. This was life. This is how we knew how to live. You understand what I'm saying? That we got away from. You got me? We have to understand nature. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we need to go back to nature for our healing, because when we walk away from nature, we are walking away from our true selves. You understand what I'm saying to you? We take these drugs. These drugs are not natural, okay? And then you understand the wording, allopathic, means other than natural. You know what I'm saying? So they're not practicing natural medicine. You see what I'm saying to you? So, you know, these medications that we take, the side effects, you listen to all the side effects. Like
you're coming out sicker than you started.
Yes.
Come on, man.
You know, you sit up here and you listen to this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And at the end, it's a runoff on the side effects. May cause blindness, may make you dizzy. Consult your doctor if you have a liver issue. If you fall out, that's part of the side effects. Or you may even die.
Yeah.
And it's like all these medications
I'm
now.
gonna stick with my sickness.
Like they trying to put lawsuits out there for the medications now. Like if you grow male breasts, like come on now, like really vaginal, all this different stuff, and it's like come on.
Listen, let me tell you something. The reason why herbs are discredited is because you cannot patent them. You cannot patent what comes from nature. You have no right to. You understand what I'm saying? But they use herbs in certain medications. You know what I'm saying? Some of my clients that have like irregular cycles, you know, bleeding heavy and stuff, right? There's a drug that they give them for when they have heavy irregular periods called Listita, okay? Listita, if you look it up, it tells you it's a genetically modified version of the amino acid lysine. Well, why would I give somebody a genetically modified version of the amino acid lysine and not lysine? Because lysine is a natural amino acid. You can't patent that. But you can, but when you genetically alter it in a laboratory, now you can patent that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you created that. Lysine did not come naturally. I mean, Listita did not come naturally. It was created in a laboratory. Lysine comes naturally. See what I'm saying? You can't patent it.
Yeah,
But Lysine helps to control the heavy cycle. You see what I'm saying? So my thing is that, okay, I'm going to give you lysine because I know that that's going to help get your cycle under control. Also, I'm going to find out what else is causing your cycle to be irregular. Is it because you're eating the wrong foods? You know what I'm saying? Women who eat a lot of meat around their cycle suffer real bad. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, if a woman has meat in her diet, I would tell her, well, around your cycle, don't eat none. It'll make it go a little smoother. Because that meat causes all the cramps. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to make it easy on you because you want, and you know, women have the tendency to think that you know your cycle 7 days, that's normal. No, it's not. Your cycle should only last about 3 days.
Really?
Yes, but we've been conditioned. You see what I'm saying? So when the diet is proper, you know what I'm saying? We're doing the proper things and taking the proper supplements. We don't suffer like that. You don't suffer like that. You see what I'm saying? So we thinking that we're supposed to be under all this pain. No. You don't have to. Your cycle's not supposed to be traumatic like that. You know what I'm saying? But that's because of conditioning, not knowing any better. You know what I'm saying? Most of us and I'm talking about women because I don't have a cycle.
Lucky you.
Right. But and the men have their own issues. But what I'm saying is that you know, as far as the cycle is concerned, you know, a lot of times too, why your cycle is so bad is because of deficiency of calcium, magnesium. You know what I mean? These things are very important to help control the cycle as well. You see what I'm saying? So being deficient in these things is why you start having such bad cramps and, oh, I need to lay down, and you close the door and don't nobody disturb me or you're going to catch the exorcist. So, you know what I mean? So it's a reason why you're doing that, and it's just because you just didn't know. You understand what I'm saying? You just didn't know. And so a lot of our women are suffering from this stuff and really didn't have to suffer from it. You understand what I'm saying to you? Just like hot flashes when they go through they don't realize that they don't really have to suffer from this. They think, oh, I ain't nothing I can do about it. Oh, yes it is. Your hormones are just out of balance, and there are herbs that'll help balance that and make the hot flash be non-existent. And then you gotta watch your diet, because part of the reason why you have hot flash is because you're consuming too much sugar. You know what I mean? You like the sweets and stuff, and you're consuming it, and that's why you're getting the flashes. You know what I'm saying? So just knowing what is the real cause, you know what I mean, goes a long way to empowering you. You understand what I'm saying? Because my job is to empower you, not to make you a slave to me, but to empower you and give you knowledge so that you could walk away from me more empowered and able to exist on your own. You understand what I'm saying? There might be times when you still need me, but the more education you have about yourself and your body, the better you're able to take care of yourself. The more freedom that you have. You understand? You're being freed. You understand what I'm saying to you?
Makes sense.
I got a question.
Yes.
What are some challenges that you run into in doing what you do?
As far as health challenges with people?
Yeah,
or
with different people, or when you're introducing like different herbs and things, or you're trying to present this knowledge to other people. Like, what is some challenges that you had with people?
All right. So I can tell you some of the challenges you can have with people is belief systems.
Right.
Okay. You know, Dr. Christopher said it very well. He said there's 3 people that you can help. He said you can't help the hypochondriac. Why? Because the hypochondriac wants to be sick. No matter what you do for them, they'll find another reason to be sick, because that's the way they want to be. Okay? He said, number 2, you can't help the skeptic. Okay? If you don't believe nothing, then nothing will work for you. You understand what I'm saying? So you can't help the skeptic. And then number 3, you can't help the person that is just at their time. Everybody has a number. Everybody's going to leave this earth. So, you know, when it's their time, it's their time. You can't help them. Okay? So yeah, there are times when you can run into difficulties, and usually when you do, it's because of those reasons. You understand what I'm saying?
That makes perfect sense.
It absolutely makes. And listen, me doing this as long as I've been doing this now, I can pick up a skeptic quick. quick. You understand what I'm saying? And if I have a chance to examine their eyes, I have their whole history. I already know what they're about. I already know what kind of traumas, what kind of mental issues they have. You understand what I'm saying? So I already know what I'm dealing with.
Mental issues they have.
You know what I'm saying? I already know what I'm dealing with.
So that's deep, right? Like to literally look in somebody's eyes and like can tell a story without them telling you anything. So is it ways to unwire? Is there only with forgiveness, like when they do have past traumas and you can see mental issues or whatever they have going on? Like what do you suggest to those type of people?
So we get down to the root cause of the problem, right? And you know, we call that time, that interaction, we call clearing, because that person gets a chance to let it out. You know what I mean? There might be crying going on, and you know, they're just letting their soul out. They're letting it out. But then you give them steps on how to work on it, okay? Or the steps of forgiveness. You know what I'm saying? Because if your problem, the root of it is because of this mental trauma that you're holding on, well, in the process of healing, we got to work on that too, because it's holistic. It's the whole you we dealing with. You understand what I'm saying? Not a body part. You understand what I'm saying? But the whole you. You understand? That's why I don't believe in like going to specialists, because if you go to a specialist that's a specialist in one thing, how does he know how that interacts with something else? You understand what I'm saying? So like to give you because of me being trained in so many different healing modalities, one that I incorporate is Chinese medicine as well, and when you think about it, it makes a lot of sense, because every organ and gland actually has a personality. You understand what I'm saying? Like emotional states. So if that emotional state is out of balance, right, that organ or gland can get out of balance because of that emotional state. You understand what I'm saying to you? Like, to give you some examples, like the kidneys, for instance, right? Kidneys are connected emotionally to fear and finances. So if a person is very worrisome, worrying a lot, or worrying about money all the time, they will start to weaken their kidneys. Your kidneys will lose energy because of that emotional state of thinking. You understand what I'm saying to you? Person that's dealing with addictions. Well, the liver is the store of all emotions. The liver is like your filtering system, okay? You don't clean out the filter in your car runs sluggish. You don't clean that liver out, you become sluggish, okay? But the liver has so many functions, and one of them is storing emotions. And so if a person has an addictive behavior, right, we can't get that addictive behavior under control unless we clean the liver out. Because the liver stores emotions. You see what I'm saying? So we need to clean that liver out. And also there's an amino acid called tyrosine that deals with addiction. And if they have an addictive behavior, they're more than likely deficient in that amino acid. So we have to give them that amino acid to help control the addictive behavior. You understand what I'm saying? And going back to my point, like with Chinese medicine or the thinking of natural, law, the heart, okay? The heart, the element that the heart represents is fire, okay? The element that the liver represents is wood, okay? Now think about this. If a person has a heart problem, right? Circulation issues, heart is just not functioning properly, low energy in the heart, right? Do I just focus on the heart? Or do I think about what part is the liver playing in this? And why am I saying that? Because think about it in natural law with life. Wood increases a fire. You throw wood in it, right? So heart represents fire, and circulation is not good. Poor circulation. What part is the liver playing in that? Because if I work on that liver as well as the heart, am I helping the heart increase circulation? Absolutely. Because the liver is the wood organ. You understand what I'm saying? So we got to think about how things connect with each other. Even with our bodies, there's a science called physiognomy that I do, okay? Which you can see certain things in the face and all, and find out like what organs or glands are out of balance. You see what I'm saying? Like if a person has discoloration on the forehead, like real deep dark discoloration on the forehead, I know right then and there's something going on with their intestines, because that's the area of the body that shows you what's going on with the intestines. You see what I'm saying? Or if a person has some dark discoloration in their cheekbones, right? And a lot of times you'll see that with people that are very overweight. You'll see a lot of discoloration in the cheekbones. Well, the cheekbones represents the lungs. So if there's a lot of heavy discoloration in that area, I know there's some issues going on with the lungs. You understand what I'm saying? Or if a person has, a very, red nose at the tip of their nose, I know something going on with the heart, because that's a tip point for seeing what's going on with the heart. You see what I'm saying? You're understanding and knowing the body. You understand? If a person has a real deep groove in their lip, a real heavy deep groove in their lip, right? I know that there's some intestinal issues going on, because the stomach is represented by the mouth. Oh, wow. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, or if a woman got hormonal issues going on, you ever get pimples on your chin around this time your cycle come on? Okay, that's because your hormones are going on. That's why you got them pimples. See, you ain't know why you got them pimples.
Listen, that stuff is sickening.
Yeah.
Like, come on,
yeah.
Stop
but
it,
that's,
okay?
but that's because that's your body showing you what's going on hormonally. Okay, and that's the reason why you start getting them pimples around that time. You ain't know why, but that's the reason why. You see what I'm saying? And that's why they come on around your cycle, because your hormones is getting off. You understand what I'm saying? So knowing this stuff empowers you. You understand what I'm saying to you? That's what I'm here for. I'm here to empower you, to help you to understand your body, to help you to heal, to help you to understand nature, to help you to understand astrology. It's very important. You understand what I'm saying to you? Just like I'm gonna tell you, February being Heart Month, right? Mm-hmm. Let me tell you why February is Heart Month. Okay. Now, we talking about astrology here and understanding the natural course of things. Now, we spoke about the autumn equinox, September 23rd, when fall arrives, and now the sun is going on its decline, right? And we are people of the sun. Don't get it twisted. Okay, we are the people of the sun. And so therefore, as the sun goes on its decline, guess what's happening to us? We're having things in that process as far as our energy is concerned, as far as our white and red blood cells are concerned. We're going through changes because of that. You know what I'm saying? And so now we're going through the season of fall, which fall represents the stomach, and then you got your part of the fall which gets close to the winter, which sometimes we call it Indian summer and stuff, where it's still a little warm before. That's the season we call metal, that deals with the lungs. You know what I'm saying? And if you really pay attention, you'll start noticing that people will start having breathing problems around that point. And so then you get into winter, which winter represents death, but the body is connected to winter through the kidneys and the bones. And so therefore you notice that you start having lower back problems, bones aching and stuff as it's getting colder, because the sun is away from you, because you're losing calcium and magnesium, which naturally comes from the sun, and vitamin D, which naturally comes from the sun. Okay, and so you're going through this process, okay, all through the winter. All right, now by the time you reach February, most people are having challenges with their heart. And you know why? Because the heart needs calcium, magnesium, and vitamin D to function properly. And because the heart is deficient, as not quite, unless you have the knowledge and you know how to supplement. Now, when February comes, people are starting having problems with anxiety, heart palpitations, you know what I'm saying? Minor chest pains, don't know what's going on, cramping and all that stuff, and don't realize that the real reason why that's happening is because of calcium, magnesium, and vitamin D deficiency, okay? Which is a natural course of things. And when I came into this knowledge, I had to go back and start thinking about in my own life, when I was like, you know what, every time I had issues going on with my heart, it was always around February, and I started looking at old doctor prescriptions and stuff, and I'm like, February, I did always have problems around that time.
Connecting them down.
Right. But they know this because I told you, the book of Encyclopedia of Medical Astrology, they know this stuff. So therefore, guess what? February is the perfect month to be Heart Month. Because you know why? We know they're going to have a lot of problems around that time. Right before the spring comes. Right before the spring comes. See, you have to understand this stuff. You understand what I'm saying? This is how you can be aware. This is how you can be awake. You know what I'm saying to you? Because this stuff is happening to you because you don't know your body. You don't know what's going on. You understand what I'm saying to you? And you know, we thinking that January 1st is the new year when it really is not. Because now, let's go back to common sense. How can the new year come in a season of death? Doesn't winter represent death? Isn't the leaves dead? Isn't the flowers dead? The grass dead? How is that new? The true new year is the first day of spring, when things become anew, which is also the time period in astrology that represents Aries, the head. And when you come into this world, you come into this world head first. You understand what I'm saying? So start paying attention to true nature. You see what I'm saying? Because nature's law supersedes all law. Because one thing we know without a doubt, the sun going to come up and then the sun gonna go down, and then the moon's gonna come up, right? And then you think about what this is. This is about balance, right? Yin and yang, right? But what is the sun? The sun is the male positive energy, and what is the moon? The moon is the female negative energy. It happens to us. It's always been around. We always gonna see it. There might be clouds covering it, but you know the sun is here, right? You might can't see the sun because of the cloud, but it's bright outside, right? So you know that sun is there. At nighttime, it might be cloud covered, but you know that moon is there, okay? And the moon, it represents the woman, the female energy. That's why the moon governs the woman's cycle. You see what I'm saying? The moon, this is how they made the calendar. They made the calendar according to the moon cycle, the lunar calendar. You see what I'm saying? So understanding nature is what we need to do. We need to go back to what our ancestors knew. You understand what I'm saying to you? So that you can really figure out what's going on. You know? That's how you figure this stuff out. You know what I'm saying to you? And you know, there are time periods where we go through certain emotional states. We ain't understanding that the reason why we going through these emotional states is because of planetary alignment, because of that magnetic energy coming off from the alignment of the planets. You know what I mean? Like when we go through retrogrades. I don't know if you ever heard of them, but Mercury retrogrades. Mercury retrogrades, when you're going through retrogrades affect communication. Retrogrades affect, mindsets as far as attitudes with people being patient. That's why it's like during a retrograde, you know, if you got somewhere to go, make sure you leave early. Because if you don't leave early enough, you can sit up and set yourself up for an accident because everybody's all like this. When you're going through retrogrades, you know what I'm saying? Understanding this stuff is important. You know what I mean? You wonder why every time you turn around, this going wrong today, that going wrong, what's going on? Ain't even understanding that it's all because of the retrograde. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And we got one coming up soon.
When is it?
It's in
Don't look up for this because it's true.
Yeah, it's coming up like around September. I'll give you the exact time period, but it will be through like September through like about like around the mid part of October, like 19th or something like that. But I'll give you the exact dates. But you know, when I used to be on the radio, I used to do a radio show with Dr. Wyatt on WURD called Wyatt's Way. But one of the things that we used to talk about is, you know, really understanding how to get through these time periods and conditions, and understanding and knowing why these things are happening. You know what I'm saying? Because they do affect things. And there was a doctor that used to come on URD, had a show, Dr. Reggie Bryant. And Dr. Reggie Bryant said, and ever since I heard him say it, he has been true and exact to this. He said, always look for something to go down between September or October. He said, without failure. And guess what? That is usually when they start their drama. And you know why? Because they know when times to do things. They know the seasons. They understand the energy. They understand astrology. These are the science that we always had, but we lost the knowledge of. And guess what? During that time period is when they start their drama. When they start their stuff. And then you even think about jobs. Think about when you start getting around that time of the year, usually stuff go down. You think about like during the summer months and stuff, like it kind of lax, don't really bother you that much. Soon as September comes around, they start cracking the whip. You think about it. You know what I'm saying? That's weird. You know, no, I'm opening up your eyes to real truth. You understand what I'm saying?
Because I always found my job
down
in
in
the spring.
school time, like everything is back. September is the month. Everything is. Oh, wow.
Absolutely. You have to understand and know what's really going on. It's why these things are occurring. It's why these things are happening. You understand what I'm saying? But it's also good to understand this thing when it concerns your body as well. Because when you're going through certain stress levels, and you're going through these certain stress levels and don't even realize that it's because of this thing astrologically is turning, and you're part of it, and you're being exposed to it. You know what I mean? So now, what do? When you have the mindset, when you know thyself, you know what I'm saying? Then you know, okay, you know what? I already see what's going on.
Yeah.
I already see what's going down. Let me start doing stuff to protect myself. Let me take supplements. Let me take B vitamins to help calm my nerves down. Because why? B vitamins govern the nervous system. You show me any person that's B vitamin deficient, I show you a person whose nerves are all out of whack. Okay? They can't get control of themselves. They can't stop stressing because the B vitamins govern the nervous system. They help to keep you calm. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And remember, everybody being different, and even some blood types, some can handle stress very well. They can deal with stress. Others have low tolerance for stress. So if you're of that person that has low tolerance for stress, guess what? You're going to need more B vitamins than the person who handles stress very well.
And what blood type is that?
So there are certain blood types like sometimes B blood types don't handle stress good. Sometimes A blood types don't handle stress too well. You know what I mean? So there's certain blood types that don't handle stress as well. But my point is that if you recognize yourself as a person that don't handle stress good, or you see a naturopathic doctor or master herbalist, and they tell you, when we find that you be vitamin deficient, then you want to supplement them Bs to help you get under control as far as your stress levels are concerned. And believe me, you'll feel so much better and so different, and you wouldn't even believe it. You'd be like, wow, this really does make a difference, and it does. Because you have to understand that emotional states cause you to deplete yourself of vitamins and minerals much faster. That's why when you functioning in a state of love, in a love state, a happy state, you hold on to vitamins and minerals much longer than a person who's angered, who's stressed, who's unhappy. They lose vitamins and minerals much faster. You believe it or not, it takes more muscles in your face to make a frown than it does to smile. So when you frowning all the time, what are you doing to the rest of your body? You're causing the rest of your body to become stressed out. You're causing the rest of your body to become unbalanced. You know what I'm saying? So when you're walking around with a scowl on your face, mad at the world, you don't realize what it's doing to you.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? You cause more pain on yourself by being mad at somebody than you do to them.
Yeah,
They going on about their day, living their life, doing what they want to do, and you're sitting up there mad and angry and still hating them. 18 years later, you still mad at them, and still mad at them all these years later. And guess what it did to you? It manifested some dis-ease in your body. You understand what I'm saying?
Disease.
Right. Because I want you to realize what it is. It's dis-ease. It caused dis-ease in your body. Because you ain't let it go. You're holding on to it all these years. You know what I'm saying?
But it keep you sick.
Yes, that's why you stay sick, because you ain't
let it go. But that's why
go.
they say let go, because you're manifesting and holding on to that anger, which causes you to be sick inside. Like, it's not worth your sanity.
It's not.
That stuff is wild. That's so funny, but it's true. I see so many people like that. It's like,
let it go.
That happened in high school.
Why
you still mad?
You still mad at it?
Yeah. And it was so we was younger than like what in the world?
It takes too much energy to hold on to.
I ain't even think about you all these years. Are you okay? I just seen you and I'm thinking, that was high school, ain't nothing. But you still don't like me. What did I do to you? And you're young, you probably a little bit crazy or whatever. Not even really being mindful of the things you do and say that to other people.
Yeah, because you don't have the knowledge.
Yeah, you don't know. But if we fast forward and all these years later and you're still mad, like, I forgot about it. Like, you got to go back to
Yeah, traumatic. But see, those are traumatic periods in your life. You understand what I'm saying? Through kinesiology, I'm able to determine traumatic experiences in a person's life as well. I can actually count down the years, you know what I mean, of when they had traumatic states. You know what I mean? And be right on point. And I've had people where I've done that too, and they say, oh, no, I ain't had no problem then. And then they come back later. Oh, you know what? I forgot. Like, yo, bro,
It's like you
that did,
block it out.
like that did happen. No, I had a problem, and this happened to me back when. And yeah, you know what? That did happen to me.
Because they become comfortable with just being in that state of just masking it and blocking it. Exactly.
So you're trying to do something about it, then it's like, damn, that did happen.
That's why they always say, like, when it comes to like grief, it's important to go through the stages of grief in order for you to get through it.
You got to, because it'll always show back up.
Because you can't do anything to mask it, because all it's doing is putting a band-aid over everything, which is going to come out later on.
Into something bigger than you can handle.
Exactly.
But
allow yourself to go through them emotions.
But at the same time, don't give somebody power over you. You understand what I'm saying? If they're controlling your moods, if they arouse anger in you and cause ill will in your body system, don't be around them.
Negative people.
You know what I'm saying? Get away from that negativity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I tell people energy is transferable.
Yes,
you have to understand that. Energy is transferable. If you're around negative people and constantly around them, watch you start doing negative stuff just like they do. Watch you start having the same kind of negative mindset. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you want to get yourself out of condition, start changing your thinking first. You see what I'm saying?
With the thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and that's why a person like Napoleon Hill can write a book like Think and Grow Rich, because he know how much the mind plays a part in it. You understand what I'm saying? That's just like a doctor by the name of Dr. Robert Wilner, who wrote the book The Deadly Deception. He was a medical doctor, and he talked about how the medical profession, how they can give you diseases. And he's a medical doctor and had said this. And he said, it's called medical voodoo. They give you a name of disease, you come into agreement with it, and you guess what? You have it, because you came into agreement with it. You believed it. You believed it. You empowered them to name something over you.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying?
But what's funny is, you know how when they do those research studies and they give people placebos, right? And then they give other people the real deal. That's the mind over matter thing. When you really think about it, and then come to find out, they were like, I didn't have a real thing. I didn't. So that puts me in the mind of that.
Yeah, because what they'll give them is a sugar pill. You know what I'm saying? And they sitting up there swearing they taking this drug, and they got
they not. That's why I thought about that. It's so funny.
But that's because of the mindset. You know what I'm saying? I can tell you a perfectly well person can go into a doctor's office and they come in there with a white smock and a stethoscope around their neck, and immediately that person starts getting afraid. Oh shoot! They call it white coat syndrome. And they can literally, cause of that fear, you can sit up there and they tell you got something, and you walked in there healthy and feeling good, and they tell you got this, and all of a sudden all the happiness and all. And so now your mind thinking that, now your mind programming the rest of your body to think that, like, oh man, I'm sick. And you walked in feeling healthy. You understand what I'm saying? That's real truth. You know what I'm saying? That's real truth. I had my own experience with that. I can remember years ago going to see my primary care physician, and right before he took my blood pressure, he started talking about stuff that was going on in the world that was really bad. And I was listening to him, and I'm like coming into agreement with that, like, this and that's going on, there's a lot going on there. And then he started taking my pressure, and then he's like, your pressure's a little high. And I'm like, I wonder why.
Yeah, all this bad stuff.
You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Or he did that on purpose.
Or another incident that I can tell y'all about when I was in the workforce, and I had a slate from a windowsill fall on my shoulder, and I was on the back stairwell in the building that I worked at, and so and they heard it because it was like a loud crash. So when I walked up the steps and came through the door, everybody was like, you all right? I said, yeah, I'm fine. I said, slate fell on my shoulder. So my job was real adamant about me going to get it checked out. So I was like, nah, I'm really cool. He's like, no, you gotta go, we gotta make sure. I'm like, all right. So they take me to a hospital, Roxborough Hospital actually, and the doctor that saw me, right, I told him, I said, listen, I'm okay, my shoulder's not bothering me or nothing like that. And he said, I'm glad you're real honest. He said, a lot of people take this opportunity to go out and work this comp and this now. And I'm like, no, I'm cool. But he's like, but we want to just make sure. So they took my pressure before I had it done, and I was like, oh, okay, everything was fine. So then they did X-rays, right? So they did X-rays, and then I came back and like, oh, the X-rays look good. Then he took my pressure again, and then my pressure was a little high. And then he was saying to me, yeah, well, your pressure's a little high, so you might want to stay away from the Chinese food. You might want to leave it, because of the MSG, and you should watch eating this and a lot of salt and all that. And I'm sitting up there smiling and laughing at him like, yeah, okay, just shot radiation through me. That's why my pressure went up. You know what I'm saying? So we got to be thinking right. You know what I mean? Thinking straight. You know what I'm saying? And Dr. Wyatt, and to tell you the story, Dr. Wyatt used to always say, a lot of medical doctors are clients of mine. You know what I mean? And he was telling me about, the reason why I'm telling this story, I'm going to show you how this connected the dots. So he was telling me about a good friend of his that was a surgeon that worked for Temple. And he was like, yeah, he's been a client of mine for years, and he was telling me about him. So one day, I walk into Dr. Wyatt's store, and I see the doctor that I saw when I went to Roxborough by my shoulder. I'm like, oh, I said, I know him. So then Doc said, hey, Dave, let me introduce you to Dr. So-and-so. He said, remember my friend that I told you about that is a surgeon, top surgeon at Temple? And I was like, yeah. And he said, well, this is him and this is his wife. They came to see me today. And I was like, I know you. And he was like, really, you know me? I said, listen, let me tell you about this time. You'll probably remember. And I told him when I came in and when I told him about my shoulder and all that stuff. And he was like, oh, yeah, I remember that. And then Doc said to him, Dr. Wyatt said to him, he said, I didn't know you was at Roxborough. He said, oh, yeah, I'm at Roxborough. He said, but, I'm getting ready to retire. Frank, I'm getting ready to retire. And, I'm done with this, because I'm tired of dealing with people. A lot of them lie all the time. I'm tired of dealing with that crap and stuff. And I'm like, wow. But I'm saying this to myself, like, yeah, Doc said a lot of his clients are doctors. You know what I mean? So I'm just telling you that a lot of them know about natural health too and will go that way. But they'll get you.
But push the medical narrative on everybody else. That's
yeah, that happens. Yeah, that definitely does. But my thing is that we just, if we know better, we'll do better. You understand what I'm saying? And we're suffering from a lot of things that we don't have to suffer from.
I agree.
But one of the biggest things we suffer from is mental suffering. You know what I mean? From all the abuses, from all the traumatic stuff that we've been taught in history, which all isn't true, by the way, that they tell you. We're conditioned to believe in all this stuff. You understand what I'm saying to you?
I agree.
And so now we have to be more mindful and wake up and take a more critical look at these things. You understand? In order to really experience true wellness. You understand what I'm saying to you? We have to change our thinking. We have to change our mindset. We have to change our diets. We have to know our blood type. All that stuff is important because it ties you into who you are. You understand what I'm saying? Who you're indigenous to. What part of the land are you from? You know what I'm saying? By knowing your bloodline and stuff like that. That stuff is important. And we can't overlook this kind of stuff. You understand what I'm saying?
I agree 1,000%. So when it comes down to new clients coming to you, how is the process? Is it a wait list? Like, how does that work?
So it is a wait because of, I got clients all over the country. The thing is that I don't do like face-to-face consultations now. I basically just do them over the phone. Okay. So I just have clients send me, eye photos. I study their eye photos, and then we have the consultation. Okay, and I've been doing that since the so-called pandemic. You know what I mean? So so-called. So I've been doing that since then, and it works very fine. These skills are very valid. They've been around for centuries. You know what I'm saying? Our people have been doing these things forever. Who had this knowledge, and I've been very successful in helping people with their imbalances, even far distance.
Yes. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying to you? And so, I just, because I know you asked me about do I have a website and stuff like that. No, I told you I'm old school. I really don't.
Yes.
Maybe if I put together a team and maybe we could do it, but my thing is, most people know about me from word of mouth, and you'd be surprised how word of mouth travels.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? And I have cards here, which I'll give you some, but that's how people get in contact with me. They get in contact with me by phone, and they call me, and then we set up a date for me to do a consultation with them. I give them my prices and everything, and we take it from there. And like I said, very, very, very successful. Like I said, clients all over the country. Most of them I've never even seen their actual face. I've only seen their eyes. But yet I've been able to figure out what's been going on with them.
That's deep.
And be absolutely, completely accurate. You know what I'm saying?
That is so deep. So once you do the consultations, do you provide the herbs, or do you tell them where to go get
No.
them?
I provide the herbs for them for their regimen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Depending on what I'm finding as far as imbalances are concerned. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's good.
Yeah. And like I said, everything that I'm recommending for them to do is based on the imbalances that I found.
Yeah.
And like I said, they might come to me with conditions like disease names, but I tell them, look, don't get caught up in that. Don't focus on that. Let's focus on what's going on with you. You understand what I'm saying? And have been like I said, very successful in helping them to turn around challenges.
Wow. So this, it's crazy because you hear so many people would say they had viruses like HIV. They have different stuff that's supposed to be like a forever thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever have clients that come to you like that, and then their diagnosis is like changed around or anything like that?
Absolutely, because the thing is that what you can't do is give into names, let people name something over you or give you something. You have to sit up here and really focus on what's going on with you. What's going on with you physically? What imbalances do you have? What behaviors do you have that you need to change? What kind of foods are you eating? You know what I'm saying? Because that really goes a long way with helping you turn around challenges and understand what you're dealing with. Like we spoke about before, virus. If you look up the etymology of the word virus, is Latin for the word poison. So your body has received a poison. So what do you do to get rid of that poison? Are there herbs that are known in the plant kingdom, in nature, to eradicate and destroy viruses? Absolutely.
Oh wow, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And that's how you gotta focus. You gotta not give yourself disease. You know what I'm saying? Dr. Robert Wilner.
I let her say
I do that on purpose. You know what I'm saying? I really want you to realize what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We take on these diseases with a badge of honor, like, oh, I got diabetes, I got high blood pressure. Yes, and we own it. We own it.
Yes, they
you
do.
know what I mean? It's like
my pressure up. I can't have.
It's like, oh, I got high blood pressure. Where's my trophy? Put it on my neck. I got high blood pressure. You know what I mean? I got diabetes. You know what I mean? Like, what? Why are you taking that
They
on?
have it. They wanted somebody to be able to.
You know what I'm saying?
And they keep saying it over and over again.
My diabetes.
My diabetes is acting up. Oh, my high blood pressure. I got this high blood
disease
pressure.
before the individual. It's like, why are you saying that?
Yes, exactly. I told you, I get
You might as well get at your first name then.
Yes.
Exactly.
Diabetic Shannon.
Yeah.
That's great. You know what I mean? Like, why do you keep saying
No,
that?
I get it. No, I get it. I get exactly what you're talking about because, you know, we're not thinking critically. You understand what I'm saying to you? You know, and then we get to this belief system of, oh, it's hereditary.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Oh, that's another thing on the
Right?
yes, exactly.
You know, so you're telling me this diabetes, I can't do anything about it because it's hereditary.
Mm-hmm.
But what about if I'm eating the same things that my great-grandparents and grandparents ate? Wouldn't I then have the same diseases?
Hello.
But if I change the cycle, can I turn around the imbalance? Absolutely. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. That's why they ask you that, because you know that everybody is not allowed with eating. They're preparing the food. They gave it on to their kids to prepare food, and they feeding their kids. And
having them in the kitchen.
It's a line of the same
they
stuff.
do that with the mental health thing too.
Yeah. But think about this and why understanding your blood type is so important. Think about you, the mom, right? You fixing the meal for the family, right? Now, your child might be A positive and you O positive, right? You fixing the food that's very good for O positive, so you eating this food and you feeling good, and your child eats the same food that you ate, and they say, "Mommy, my stomach hurt." And you looking at them like, "What's wrong with you? Ain't nothing wrong with that food. I just ate that food. I'm feeling good. What's wrong with you?" Mm-hmm. And not even making the connection that, oh, your child is a different blood type.
Exactly.
And that's the reason why it ain't working for them like it's working for you. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We gotta start being smart and strategic. You know, the kitchen is your laboratory for real. Mm-hmm. But we don't respect it like that. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And remember, the nation comes through you. Okay? The nation comes through our women, our Asiatic women. The nation comes through. You are the queen of civilization. You are the origin of civilization, okay? So just think, if you ain't in your right state of mind, and you're not respecting that kitchen as your laboratory, and you feeding garbage to your family, how is your family going to function in this society? Not well at all. You see what I'm saying? So we should be mindful of what we're feeding our family. You understand what I'm saying? Because a lot of it, the problems that our family has, is tied into how well we respect the kitchen. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying to you? You know, it's like this. Sometimes, you know, you have women complaining about their man's erectile dysfunction and don't realize that they could be the cause of it. Ooh.
Ain't that something?
Stress.
Hey, baby, drink this soda. Here, drink this Mountain Dew. Come here, get yourself some energy. Drink this Mountain Dew. Here, eat this. Eat these French fries and chicken wings and just eat. Yeah. And he, oh yeah, have a slice of this big slice of cake I want to give you. Eat that. And then he eat all that. Oh yeah, baby, that's good. Oh, I can't get it up. What's wrong with you? You ain't even connected the part that you might have been played in that. You see what I'm saying? Giving them the wrong stuff. You know, when men come to see me that deal with those issues, sometimes I say, okay, I understand you want a quick fix pill, but why don't you deal with what's really going on? You see what I'm saying? Let's find out what's going on with your reproductive system. What's going on with your testicles? What's going on with your prostate? What's going on with your kidneys? What's going on with your bladder? Guess what? All of them play a part. What's going on with you mentally? Let's figure it out. You know what I mean? Don't just take the quick fix pill, because the quick fix pill will give you the quick fix, but it'll never solve the problem. You see what I'm saying? And eventually your body becomes used to the quick fix pill, so now that don't work no more. So now you gotta try something else. You see what I'm saying? So you gotta realize that you need to focus on what's the problem. What am I doing? What am I eating? How am I thinking? What's causing this irregularity? You know what I'm saying? In me. You see what I'm saying to you? We gotta know. We gotta know those things.
1,000%.
You know what I'm saying? Or a woman wondering why she can't get wet enough. I'm sorry for the children out there. I'm sorry. This is a public announcement. Any children out there, Take them immediately away from this video. We're talking grown adult stuff here.
18
This is your
chance.
This is your chance to remove your young child away from this. Okay. Now, if you're dealing with vaginal dryness, right? You might blame him. Oh, he can't get me stimulated enough to get me wet and something like that, right? And not even know that it's because you have an imbalance going on that's causing that issue. It could be your diet. It could be something you're dealing with mentally that you haven't released. You see what I'm saying? We're not thinking about that. You know what I'm saying? So those things need to be dealt with too. You know what I mean? Instead of passing the blame like, oh, it's your fault.
Yeah.
It's your fault. That's the reason why I can't get myself together. It's your fault. So it's like we got to think, okay, what's going on down there? Why is that like that? You know what I'm saying? Or, we talked about with women dealing with BV. Women hate that name so much, they just use the initials. They don't even want to talk about it. But it's like, okay, why is that stuff happening? You know what I'm saying? You need to be educated on why those things are happening.
Absolutely.
Or why you keep getting these yeast infections and stuff. And it's like, okay, do you take probiotics? Because if you don't, you can have problems with yeast infections by not taking probiotics. Because probiotics is very important. And women will say, oh, I do probiotics. I eat probiotics in the yogurt. When it's homogenized and pasteurized, it is cooked out. It ain't giving you what you think you get.
Exactly.
So you need it from a natural source. You know what I'm saying? They put these probiotics into your body so that you can have a friendly flora down there. Because you need friendly bacteria. We think when we hear bacteria, bacteria all are bad. No, you have friendly bacteria that you need for proper digestion so you can move your bowels. But women also need proper flora down there so that their vaginal state stays good. So that they don't have BV and all that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? The stuff. The embarrassment, you know what I'm saying? But because of the stuff that I deal with, and I deal with people with a lot of emotional states, so I understand the emotional state of having that. You know what I mean? That's why you don't want to spell it out for what it is. You just say, well, I got BV. You're like, okay, well, if somebody don't know, like, well, what is BV? Well, that's the whole point. I want you to know. So the only way you're going to know is if you're in that profession and you understand what BV is, right?
Make people want to know more BV.
It's BV, right. So my whole thing is, you know what I'm saying? And you know what? I would say it, but you know what? I want people to do some homework. You want to know what BV is? Look it up. Because, you know what I'm saying? Because I know how touchy a subject it is. So I like this. You know that it's going to be BV for this podcast. So, but my thing is you're dealing with that because you don't really know your body. You see what I'm saying? And when you take chemical antibiotics don't get rid of anything. It only masks the situation. So the symptoms go away, but the problem is still there. It lies dormant. You know what I'm saying? It's just like men who had, say, an infection from, sexual intercourse, so a venereal disease. And they might have took some antibiotics to get rid of it. Okay, symptom goes away. You stop having all the symptoms and all. Okay, I feel fine. I don't have those symptoms no more. I'm good. What they don't understand is that the chemical antibiotic, all it did was mask the situation, but it's still dormant in the body. And so later on, it manifests as something else. You know what I'm saying? So then you have a kidney problem, right? That was tied into the original infection that you got years ago that you never got corrected, right? And now you got high blood pressure and don't realize that the root of the high blood pressure coming from the infected kidney. You see what I'm saying? Because the kidney's job is to move fluid through the body. So if the fluid is not moving through the body like it's supposed to, it's building up. An excessive buildup of fluid can cause you to have problems with high blood pressure. You see what I'm saying?
that makes
One of the things, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But remember, I told you several different reasons why you can have it. You know what I'm saying? A person can have a thyroid imbalance and don't even understand how the thyroid affects depression. You know what I'm saying? Or a vitamin D deficiency, and people don't understand the vitamin D deficiency and how it affects the heart. You know what I'm saying? Or calcium or magnesium deficiency, because they are known to calm the muscle of the heart. You see what I'm saying? One of the nicknames of the mineral magnesium is the relaxer. Is one of the nicknames of that mineral. You see what I'm saying? Because magnesium helps you to relax. So if you show me a person that's magnesium deficient, I'm showing you an irritable, aggravated, can't get along with person. You know what I mean? Because they ain't got enough magnesium in their body to keep them calm and relaxed. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So this is my question. So say I know your wait list is long and somebody's coming to you in dire need, like they got a diagnosis or whatever, and they like, I'm not going to go to the medical side of things. I want to go to Brother David, Levi Bay, and see exactly what I have going on. Do you make like adjustments for those type of calls, or like how does that work?
So here's the thing. I tell people all the time that you got to be patient and realize that things are not going to get turned around right away. So you just have to be patient and give it time. Now there might be situations where I can move them up and get to them. You understand what I'm saying? Depending on the situation. But at the same token, I always tell a person that you still got to exercise patience, because impatience leads to panic. And panic will make you sick. You understand what I'm saying? Because it will make you start thinking you got stuff that you don't even have. Because you start coming into agreement with everything. They told you one thing, you didn't conjured up 20 other diseases that you got. Because those symptoms are similar, so I must got that too. And I got that. And when you in that kind of mindset, you can't
planning your funeral.
Yeah, you can't heal. You can't heal in that mindset.
Absolutely, that is so true.
You understand what I'm saying? That's where prayer comes in. That's where meditation comes in. You understand what I'm saying? You gotta have that me time where you quiet out the rest of the world. You understand what I'm saying to you? And if you're dealing with a lot of negativity, you gotta create your own heaven while you're here. You understand what I'm telling you? And you can do that. People don't realize that there's music that you can play, frequency music that you can play.
Like raindrop music.
Yeah, to calm down. Because water is a great healer. Okay? Listen, I was working at one of your major health insurance companies for a while, right? And I was a supervisor. I was supervising a provider area for that particular company. And I got moved into an area. I was a supervisor, and I got moved into an area where there were a bunch of managers. Okay. A lot of times you have some places that have too many chiefs and not enough Indians.
Yes.
Okay. So that area where my office got moved to, I'm like, oh boy. I said, I'm around all, because a couple of them I knew were negative from the door, right? So I'm saying to myself, oh my goodness. What am I going to do? Because I got to deal with all this negativity, and I got no choice but to work around this at this time. So how can I overcome this negative energy that I'm going to be around? And in my mind immediately said water. And I said, I knew that immediately came from the Creator. And I said, water. I said, okay, water. All right, I got it. I know what you're telling me. So then what I did is I went and bought some desktop waterfalls.
Oh yeah.
And I put 2 waterfalls on my desk strategically. Okay? And then I thought about plants. So bamboo, I started putting bamboo plants around my desk. Prosperity, peace. Okay? Then bonsai. You ever seen the bonsai plant like Karate Kid? Mr. Miyagi cut the little bonsai. Got me a bonsai plant. Put it on my desk. Okay? Then I got some crystals, okay, because I understand the healing power of crystals. And so I put some crystals around my desk, put some crystals around my computer, because I had 3 computers on my desk. So, for this particular business, like I'm working on 3 computers at one time. They even had, we just snatched While I was screaming too, you ever scream? I felt like the Wizard of Oz, like I'm whipping stuff here and there. You know, that's so I had put the crystals around, and when I tell you that negative energy could not come around me, it was not even funny. They would get at my door and couldn't go no further. And I'm sitting up there just smiling because I know they spirit. You know what I'm saying? When you understand the negative spirits of people, because people will show you who they are if you pay attention. And so I'm like, they couldn't even get past the door. I'm laughing and smiling. I was like, I looked at up in the sky and said, thank you for giving me that intuition. You know what I'm saying? Because I had to deal with the negative energy. Because they couldn't come in my office and feel comfortable. But my workers would come in there and sit down and talk to me. We would have conversation. Yeah. And they would say, I don't know what it is, but I feel so relaxed when I come in here. And the thing about it is that I loved my people that worked for me. You understand what I'm saying? And I came into that environment not even getting the training that was required. They didn't even give me. But I said, I'm not going to let that hold me back because I know I'm bigger than this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm bigger than training because I know how to deal with people. You understand what I'm saying to you? Yeah. And so I was watching other people get training of another persuasion, but I wasn't getting it. So I'm like, okay, it's all right, no problem. I know who with me. I know who got my back. So my unit, when I first took it over, was had low performance standards. And it went from a 2 supervisor unit to a 1 supervisor unit. Oh, wow. They fired 1 supervisor, the other supervisor just left and went to another company. And so that left me, they put me in the department to run the whole department by myself. Oh, wow. But God is good. So because I knew how to deal with people, I got to know each and every individual that was under me. Wow. And not just know their name, but to know their family, know how did they have children. Yeah. And when they come in my office, do we always have to talk about work? No. How are you doing today? How your family doing today? How's the children? How the children doing today? You understand what I'm saying? Because I wanted them to know that I cared about them. Okay? And to let them know, I got your back. If you do what you're supposed to be doing, I got your back. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? And when people know that you care about them, they will work for you. Oh, absolutely. You understand what I'm saying? Absolutely. They know you got your heart for them. They'll work for you. You understand what I'm saying?
That's extremely important.
And they couldn't figure out how to turn that team around to top performance standards. Because they came to work knowing that their supervisor had their back and that their supervisor wasn't trying to get rid of them. So now that eased the stress. You know what I'm saying? And when they did something wrong, I got on them. But guess what? But they could respect when I got on them because I didn't always ride their back. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I come in the office first thing in the morning, speak to every individual. Hey, how you doing? How's your day? What's going on with you? You know what I'm saying? Everybody. I made sure I spoke to everybody. I didn't just do it as a general, hey, everybody, and then went in my office. No. I made the time to walk to each and every one of them and have a conversation in the morning. Why? Because I care. You know what I'm saying? It goes a long way. Not only is that creating a good working environment, but it also keeps your workers from calling out sick. Because they know that they can come to work where somebody truly cares about them. You understand what I'm saying? And understands that they can have a bad day.
That's important, and in a workspace is extremely important.
Yes, and because people have bad days, but when people would have bad days with me, I encouraged them and gave them some advice on what they could do to help themselves out. Absolutely. You understand what I'm saying? Because sometimes we just need a little help. Sometimes we just need a little advice. You know, like you know, people might have a problem with coming in late. I'm like, well, why are you having this problem with being late all the time? You know what I mean? And I'm not saying it to get on you. I'm just trying to figure it out. So maybe I can give you some suggestions, you know, what to do. Because I can tell you from my own personal, you know, mindset. Like I tell people all the time, I say, I don't know the reason why this is, but Mondays and Thursdays seem to be the hardest day to get to work. For some odd reason, traffic is extremely packed, compacted Monday and Thursday. We're like, why is that? Going back to it, maybe it has something to do with astrology. So I knew I'm going to get myself out of the house extra early those days because I know how the traffic is because I'm going to try to beat that heavy traffic.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? You know, I'm like, oh, maybe I got to get up a little earlier. You know, I hate getting up that early. Well, guess what? Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Because you think about this, right? Let's think about what's the difference between a multi-billionaire and you. They got the same 24 hours.
That part.
But it's the part of managing time.
Yeah, how you utilize it.
You know what I mean? So how do you utilize it?
I agree 1,000%.
So when you start figuring that out and seeing, now you got it. Now you're like, ooh, now I know what to do. Now I'm aware. Thanks, Dave. Thank you. I didn't know that.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep, I agree.
Now that goes a long way than, you know what? You was late to them writing you up. It goes much further than that. You understand what I'm saying?
You on the verge of being suspended.
Yeah.
After that, you can't.
Right. At the same time,
I'm not
they
getting
get people accountable for what it is that they do.
But I'm
You
able
know?
to see it. I'm able to see it, and you're giving me a solution.
Exactly.
You're not just sitting here coming down, but you're coming solution based. Like
the whole time I was there, and it was only 18 months, and then I left, and then I just said, you know what, I just do what I do now, full time. I fired one person, and upon that firing, before that person walked out the office with my manager in HR, that person said to them, "This is the best supervisor I ever had." That touched my heart because you're getting fired.
Yeah.
But yet you still knew that
Wow.
it wasn't nothing I did. It's what you did to yourself.
Wow.
And I still had a heart for that person because I said, I don't want to see nobody lose their job. They got family to take care of and stuff like that. So I never ever want to be in a predicament to have to do that to somebody. I'd rather motivate you and uplift you.
I agree.
And build you up than to find a way to tear you down.
Absolutely.
He wasn't ready, or that person wasn't ready, but they still recognize you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, but it through HR and my manager, like, because they looked at each other like, because they probably never heard somebody say that too upon getting terminated.
Absolutely.
Like, wow.
I'm mad. I ain't thinking about giving no props. I lost my
job,
because my family,
Yeah.
so, but he still recognized that. So what you did there,
and it was
impact.
yeah, it was a she, but and then I had the job of escorting them out. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, wow, and the whole conversation to escort them out was cordial.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like, cussing me out on the way out or anything. And then more like asking them situations about, concerning them. And they was like, I'm going to be all right. It's like, you know what? I was really tired of this job anyway. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, wow. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I'm saying that because this all still connects to health. It's about how you treat people.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of us are suffering because of being in environments of negative energy and how we're being treated. You understand what I'm saying? And so that affects your health. You understand? And that's how so many people can retire from jobs and be on so much medicine, and therefore right after they retire, they're going within 1, 2, or 3 years. Exactly.
Just focusing on
for nothing.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
On the individual as a whole. That's why that person was leaving without ill will and stuff like that. So that's a good thing. So
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, you gotta care about people. You know what I'm saying? You just listen. The task at hand will get done much better if the people feel that you care about them. They'll put out better effort, and they can accept criticism better when they know you care, and it's not just you just picking on them.
Yeah, people want to feel supported.
They have the ability to advocate and say what their needs. State what you need from somebody. Stop going and running, telling your friends and your spouse and complaining all day. speak to the person that's causing you these issues, and then y'all both have a better understanding of things that really thrive. And that's just what it is. That communication is important.
And believe me, when you got the right heart and the right mindset, right, and you really truly care about people, the universe will protect you. When people try to do stuff, listen, there was times that there was things being plotted against me, and I would always know ahead of time. Why? Because God kept me 2 steps ahead. And you know why? Because I was doing things the right way.
Absolutely.
And so therefore, when you do things the right way, people will have a heart for you, and they will look out for you.
I agree 1,000%.
They will look out for you. They will look out for you.
Absolutely. So you got to let people know, like, where can they find you? I know you don't do the internet stuff. I know that, you know, you old school with it and like and give away some old school. But where can they find you if they want to get consultations or anything? Like, how can they find you?
So, I'm going to give you some cards.
Okay.
All right. So, is it all right if I get up, or should I stay right here?
You can stay. You know your number, right?
Yeah. I have 2 numbers.
Oh,
my personal number, I'll give it. I don't have a problem with it. But I use a Google number and I use a personal number.
Yeah, use your Google number.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, I'm okay. I'll use my regular number anyway. It's cool. Because I don't know the Google number by heart, shame on me. But my number that they can reach me at 267-250-9178. That's 267-250-9178. Now, what you will do, if I don't answer, leave me a message. Let me know where you saw me. I will get back to you. Okay? I will definitely get back to you. All right? Just let me know. But yeah, my thing is, and we had this discussion before. I told you I'm old school. I still write down regimens on paper using carbon paper for the copy. And people say, why you do it? Because I could just easily, put in a copy or something like that. But it's old school to me. It's sacred. It's sacred. You know what I mean?
Whatever works for you,
and works for you. And the thing about it, because of computers, we don't write anymore.
Nope.
So it keeps me sharp. Keeps me writing, you know what I mean? Because a lot of us have lost the ability, you know what I mean? I used to tell people all the time, I used to be an excellent speller, but years of being on a computer and they always had spell check to lean on, it became a point where even when I was spelling it right, I wasn't sure no more.
Listen, let me double check.
Am I right?
It's the simplest thing.
Yep.
Yeah. That's spelled right. Wait, what's going on here? But it is right, but it don't feel like it's right. Right. They spelled the damn thing for me. Right?
Yeah. So then you go back to, all right, well, let me spell check it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When we did it mentally, you know what I'm saying? Like phone numbers. Like we used to remember phone numbers. We could almost remember.
I don't even know a lot of numbers because it's in my phone number. Then I just go to the name.
Right. But back in the day, we used to remember phone numbers like that. You know what I'm saying?
I remember that number.
Yes. Like I go so far back. I remember when it used to be alphabets in front of the phone number.
Oh yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like my phone number growing up was TR87595. You know what I mean? I still remember that. But ask me somebody's number now, and I'll be like, oh, let me think.
Well, we didn't have to use the area code or anything before. Then they started that new thing with that. Remember? So
I
get it.
Yeah.
They took a lot of stuff away from us, right? Kind of like crutches and things like that. It's just like that, but it's not for the good. Some stuff, yes, we want to speed through it. You know, it's good. It's good, but other stuff like stuff that we need to really value is like non-existent.
Yeah, and we become so dependent on the phone.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's doing all our thinking for us now. And it's like we got to get away from letting the phone do all the thinking for us. You know what I'm saying? What came first, man or the phone? Man did. That's with any machine. You know what I'm saying? Dr. Wyatt used to say it all the time. You know, he's even when he was teaching the sciences that he was teaching that involved that machine that I talked to you about. He was like, the reason why I'm so good at it is because I mastered myself. He said, master self first. You understand what I'm saying? So my whole thing is that, these phones got used, but one thing that I wish that they could do, and they can do because they do everything else, I wish that when you get in your car, it disconnects your ability to text. Because I'm tired of seeing people.
They do have that on the iPhone.
Yeah.
Do that.
Yeah, but I'm saying, that these phones will automatically, once you plug them up in the car and all, that it'll automatically know that you in the car and do that automatically.
Yeah.
Because aren't you tired of being at a light and watching somebody and the light changing and they sitting up here and then you start wondering, is it you? Like, oh, because I used to do it with my son. Am I becoming impatient? Like, I don't really like hitting my horn. Like, am I becoming impatient? No, it's because the light is green and they're sitting there. And they're sitting there. And believe me, I will give you a few minutes before I hit the horn because I don't want to hit the horn. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, they're not paying attention. I go, but then you got people that's so impatient, they hit you soon as the light turns.
didn't even turn green
yes,
yet.
Yes.
Damn, I got to look like, wait, did I miss it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you talking about that impatient stuff, or the driver who's driving down the street doing like this, and it's
I
like,
want to get far away from you.
Yes.
I don't want to be in an accident.
I be seeing you. I pause right over and see you.
Or they ride you. I can't.
Tailgating you. Yes.
Yeah, and I put them flashes on now. Go around.
Yeah, no, I get right over. Don't do that.
Exactly, but you know what it's called? It's called critical distance.
Yeah.
You know when you don't feel right about somebody, when they enter your critical space and you feel uneasy. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying to you? You know what I'm saying? And critical distance is very important. You know what I'm saying? In martial arts, we talk about the critical distance. Anytime somebody's within a foot length of you, they getting into your critical distance space. You understand what I'm saying?
I agree.
So that means that once they get past, when they get into a length of a foot, that means they in the distance of where they can kick you.
Look, I call it my
personal space. Right, right. So if I'm entering your personal space and you feel uncomfortable, then you know something ain't right with that person. You understand what I'm saying? And so you know when you're around good spirit, a comfortable spirit to be around, because you feel relaxed. You feel on edge, that's your spider sense tingling. Remember that?
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
So funny.
That's your spider sense. You know what I mean? That's real rad.
Funny.
You know?
Okay.
Yes, no, but because I need everybody to know, they know where to find you. You gave out your phone number. They know what you provide. You have gave out plenty of examples on why, what you do is effective and needed. Especially right now during all this, like, pandemic stuff, everything that's going on, you need to go. Everybody got to get back to their roots. And what was done with our grandparents and even our ancestors we didn't even meet. Nobody depended on medicine. None of them. That's why they say them home remedies. They work.
Yep.
Dad, what did grandma do? Put the onions at the bottom of the feet.
Yeah.
There you go.
What I mean?
There you go.
So listen, really go back to what you know, and because it's important, it's true, and and even all the things that you said. You really get their mind and the wills going to what's true and what's not. When you really start thinking about the whole picture, even go back a little bit on the things that you did encounter. Damn, none that makes sense. I didn't even look at it like that.
Yep.
So I love what you do. I love what you're giving out to the world, and I love the fact that people is able to come to you, right? And that you're going to continue to carry that torch that you were, taught by Dr. Wyatt, right?
Yes, and I'm eternally grateful to Dr. Wyatt.
Absolutely.
I'm eternally grateful to Trinity School of Natural Health as well. But my mentor put me on that path. You know what I'm saying? And I learned what I learned through him. And so I'm eternally grateful, and to carry the torch, I'm eternally grateful to do that. Yeah. Because he gave his life. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I just could not do it. When somebody sacrificed like that, to not go and carry on the torch, you know what I'm saying? So I'm thankful, I'm grateful, you know what I'm saying? I'm humbled by it. That's why my head never gets big, you know what I'm saying? Because and when I'm telling people this stuff, because it's like at one time I didn't know this either. You understand what I'm saying to you? So I'm grateful.
But you know now, and you're doing your work. Everybody has a purpose, and you found yours. Yes, you had to get that illness with your liver in order to find your purpose, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just happy that had. Of course, I'm glad you're better now.
Right.
but that had to happen to you in order to find your path, and you're on it, right?
Listen, Shannon, I tell people all the time, the greatest gift that God ever gave to me was to make me sick. Because if he had never made me sick, he would have never got my attention. He made me sick so he could teach me the truth about health. And then now I can serve him the way he wanted.
Exactly. And y'all heard it here. He's living in his truth. He's following his purpose. And, shout out to the late, great Dr. Wyatt for even giving him this ability to do what he do. So I'm glad you were here. They know where to find you. And make sure y'all, go over to Brother Levi and Bay and get what y'all need. So this is Nash signing off.
Ash signing off.
Brother Dave signing off.